Good morning. So today we're going to talk about driving at night, camping, and of course painting. So here's the painting. Kind of simple. I'm not sure if I like it even, but it's the painting I do on today's video. Yeah, I promised a long time ago when I first started this channel that I wouldn't shy away from the ones I don't like. I like it, but I don't love it. How about that? Just to be honest with you. So, I don't know what I would do differently, except just do another one. But right now, let me show you how I did this one. And thank you for watching. Good morning. How are you doing? Well, today we're going to do a night scene. I got a couple of songs in my head. Bob Seger's Night Moves, Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run, maybe, and a few others. And then Drive. Who's going to drive you home tonight? By the Cars. Oh my gosh, there's so many songs about cars and driving. It's part of our world, right? Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to put a couple of sketch marks on here. So this is a kind of a completely made up picture here. I just want to do sort of a recollection of driving at night when I used to go on road trips with my son. And I was okay with driving at night back then. Now I'm not so fond of it. Don't know what happened. I got older, I guess. I just thought, sometimes when you take photographs out through the windshield of the car, you say to yourself, well, 90% of this picture is road. Do I want that? Do I want 90% of the picture to be the road? Well, that's sort of what I'm doing. Well, 25% of the picture is the road. But it's not the road. It's right here. That and that. Those little white spots that reflect into the roadway. You know what they are, right? They are the headlights of another car coming at you. Not at you. Gosh, no. Hope not. They're another car going the other direction. Yes, it's part of driving at night. All that oncoming traffic. I know it's always scary. It is a little bit scary, isn't it? Driving at night. So in this particular memory I have, I was with my son. He was little at the time. Not little, but like a teenager. And we were driving somewhere out west. I'm going to say maybe this was New Mexico. I'm trying to think where this might have been. But I don't remember. But anyway, there was a campground we were heading to. We were camping. And it was getting late. It was getting late quicker than I thought it would. I wasn't getting there as quick as I thought I would. So we got to the campground after they had closed. And this is kind of a simple composition here. Okay, let me get back to what I'm talking about. So we got there after it closed, and they had this sign on the building or whatever. I don't even remember, but there was some way they told us with words, with printed words, that if you arrive after hours, now I don't know if they still do this in any campgrounds, but it said the honor system. So you just basically put your money in an envelope and then drop it in to the box, and then take your receipt, put it on your dashboard, and go find a place to camp. We had a tent, and so that's what we did. We just put the money in there and drove around looking for a place to camp, and there were lots of places. I don't remember having a hard time finding a place. And like in today's world, like everybody has an RV. But back then, it seemed like there was a lot of tents. A lot more tents then than there are now. So we set up our tent, and I don't know if we stayed up at all. I used to have this. This was before there was the internet. This was before there was cell phones. Maybe we had a cell phone. I'm not really sure about that. But anyway, it was definitely before we had the internet, and especially at a campsite. So we had this little tiny TV. I bought this TV. Isn't this weird? Now, we didn't watch it much. I think I used it mostly for the weather. Even though radio has weather, I used to watch the little local TV channels to see what the weather map looked like. I got the TV at Radio Shack. Do you remember Radio Shack? Does that still exist? And it was in the case for sale as a scratched, whatever. It was scratched. And to this day, I don't have the TV anymore, but to this day, I could not find any scratches on it. No, nothing. But it was like very super cheap. So I bought it and brought it with us camping. I just thought it'd be fun to have a TV in the tent. At that time, that was very unique. Like nowadays, you can watch anything on your phone, right? You might be watching this video on your phone. But yeah, back then. So I took this. Why am I going on about the TV? I don't know. But isn't this cool how the water's doing that? Look at that. Isn't that cool? Kind of like that. Put some up here. I'm trying to create like a night sky. So anyway, so we went camping and we found our spot, and then after we watched our little TV, I think we watched Hogan's Heroes or something. It was so small, this tiny screen. We're both looking at this little screen. I don't know what we watched, to be honest with you. I don't know why Hogan's Heroes came to mind just then. Something like that, something old and something that had been around a while. It was no big deal to miss it, and we weren't that much into TV anyway. So anyway, we went to sleep, right? And then that night, as we're sleeping, there's a whole lot of noise outside the tent. And we looked outside the tent, and guess what? Oops, I got some bread down there. I can fix that. There were Boy Scouts setting up their tents. And I said to Alex, there's Boy Scouts setting tents outside of our tent. I mean, they're all over the place. There was like hundreds of Boy Scouts. So I think what happened was we got a spot in a place that was reserved for the Boy Scouts, and they arrived even later than us. And they were setting up their tents, but nobody was saying anything to us. They just let us sleep there. And the next morning, we got up and made breakfast or whatever. I don't even remember what we did, but we usually made breakfast. I usually took out my little portable stove and made pancakes and eggs and whatever. Yeah, those were fun times. I have very fond memories of those days. I still like the idea of camping. It seems so nice, but every time I actually go camping, I can't wait to get home. Isn't that crazy to say? I think it's because it's the tent. I just think it's too difficult anymore for me to sleep on the ground. I used to love it, but so I think the next time we go, we're gonna rent a cabin or something. You know, one of those little cabins that they have at like the KOAs and those kind of places. So what that has to do with this picture is that the drive, before that whole story happened, the drive was at night. And this is kind of what hopefully I'm going to pull it off. This is sort of what it looked like. Oops. Let's spread that out. I like the way the water just does its thing here. You like that? Let the water carry the colors. Very watercolor-y today. And I am using the watercolors, yes, I know. And I am using a little bit of gouache. There's a little bit of gouache over there. Yeah. So that's got to dry before I can put those mountains in there. Let me add some of this road here. And of course the main thing is to get those lights there. So this has to be, I don't know what to do here. Let me get this road wet here, except for oh, that might work. Just use that dirty water. Make sure I keep the lights right there. I think the lights are the focal point of the whole picture. Just keep it white right there. Pull down the dirty water. Get the highway. Little roadside. Whoops. That's a little too dark right there. The song by Tracy Chapman says, "You got a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere." Isn't that awesome? "Any place is better," she writes. "Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove." Wow. And she seems like such a humble lady. I remember when that song first came out, I saw an interview with her, and she was just a beautiful, humble lady. And her words say a lot, you know, in that song. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. Huh. That's true. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. Just gotta wait for that to dry up there. I guess in the meantime I can go ahead and spread some dirty water here. Get a little bit of yellow ochre on there. Fix that mistake. I touched the paper with my wet finger. Some of that might have some orange in it, reflecting off the the land too. Let's spread this out. I'm going to bring it up almost to the edge there. I just don't want it to touch because I don't want it to bleed down. Yeah, I used to drive a lot. It feels like I drove all the time when I was younger. I drive a lot now, but not like fun driving. It's always have to an errand or this and that, and the other thing. Having to run around. Let's keep that car right there. Or maybe it's a truck. Okay. I'll let that dry. So this over here is the roadway. I can, you know what I can do? I can add gouache to some of that. I think that's what I'll do. That's my plan. So the first time I ever saw the saguaro cactus, you know, the big tall cactus, the first time I ever saw that was on one of the trips that Alex and I took. We took a drive to see my brother Bob. Bob had a place in the desert. And we drove out there. Let's see if I can get this up here without it bleeding through. I'm okay if it bleeds down, I just don't want it to bleed up into the sky. I want these to be kind of very defined. Yeah, so the very first time we went out west, because I had been out west, but only by plane, so I flew over all those things. I flew over all of that great landscape. I went to LA when I was 22, and that was the first time I'd ever gone out west, and I loved it. I loved LA. Oh my God. When you're 22, 1977, it was a great experience. I was one of those guys hopeful to have a record career or a music career. Probably why I pay so much attention to music still to this day. Yeah, and the mountains there in Santa Monica were so beautiful in the morning. I worked at a place on the beach. It was a pizza place. It was called Nancy's Pizza. If you know the area. Now it's called Perry's Pizza. It's still, well, it's called Perry's. I don't think it's called Perry's Pizza anymore. It was Nancy's when Nancy owned it. Nancy was my boss. And it was a great job. It was not a great job as far as money making, but I mean, you're on the beach. It's pretty nice when you're a 22-year-old guy. Didn't make much money, but I had another job too. I had a job doing lead sheets at a music production company. Should I name drop? Should I tell you where it was? I will. I did lead sheets for Phil Ganhart. Phil Ganhart was a producer at that time. He did songs by Lobo and the Bellamy Brothers, and I'm sure there was many others. But my job was to do lead sheets, and what that meant was let's say they had a song that they wanted one of their artists to sing. When I say they, I mean Phil Ganhard. He had a staff, but it was mostly him. So if he had a song that he wanted them to sing, he didn't want the singer to be singing like the songwriter. He wanted the singer to sing his or her own way. And so the songs came in by songwriters, hopeful songwriters who wanted to, have a hit song. And so a gentleman named Dick Holler, and Dick Holler wrote some hit songs too. He wrote the song Abraham, Martin, and John, and I think he wrote Crossfire, and I think he wrote the Snoopy versus Red Baron song, I think. But anyway, I know he wrote Abraham, Martin, and John. And this guy was wonderful, really great guy. And anyway, so Dick Holler would listen to the cassettes that these young songwriters would send in, and if he thought it was a good song, he would show it to Phil Ganhard, and Phil Ganhard would say yes or no, right? I think that's how it worked. So what I did for them was, and I remember how this happened, because I was a hopeful songwriter also. I was there pitching my songs all the time, bringing them pizza from Nancy's Pizza, trying to butter them up. Not funny. So I was in the office one time, and he was on the phone. Dick Holler was on the phone, and he was on the phone. And he puts the phone to the side, and he says to me, "Do you know how to do lead sheets?" And well, I did. I knew how to do that because I had done it for myself. And I said, "Yeah." So he said, whoever he was talking to, he said, I got a guy. Well, I think, wow, I'm in on something. I don't know what I'm in on, but I'm in on something. So from that point on, I would come in there whenever they needed something wrote into a lead sheet, and I would listen to the cassette in a little tiny room, and from that cassette I would figure out what the notes were, what the chords were, and write the lead sheet. And getting back to the reason they had those lead sheets done, it wasn't for the musicians, it was for the singer, okay? And the singer would then, because the singer doesn't have anything to hear, but rather just something to read, the singer would then be not influenced by the songwriter, see? Instead of listening to the songwriter and emulating that voice or that style, they would have their own style. Am I making sense? I'm trying to paint and talk at the same time, which is what I do, I guess. I like this way of doing these. So anyway, so I did that, and I got $35 each time I did that. Plus I worked on the beach and at the pizza place, and life was good. I slept on the floor at my brother's place. I didn't even have rent. How about that for a lifestyle, huh? Yeah. Thank goodness my brother let me do that. I've mentioned my brother on here before. He passed away 5 years ago. Very fond memories of that. I think I was out there for 8 months or so doing that. You know who I met when I did that? Do you know Tom Sullivan? Does that name ring a bell? Tom Sullivan is blind, and he has a big acting career too. I believe he was on Mork and Mindy with Robin Williams, and he had a movie he wrote called If You Could See What I Hear. And yeah, he used to come in all the time. He always had his dog, his guide dog, his seeing eye dog. Yeah. I can put a little bit like that there. Just trying to make this look like a landscape back here instead of just a... See, it's still wet, so I can't really do much with it. What I can do, though, is get that sky looking better, because now that it's dry, they can move some of that around. Yeah. Yes. So in Tracy Chapman's song, let me find another verse from her song. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. I've been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. Wow, is that not a great song? Is that not a good example of good songwriting? I think so. Let's get this sky a lot redder. I just want this sky to be really red. It's how I remember it. I remember driving through the desert and seeing these mountains up ahead. I'll just keep layering it. It'll be all right. Go ahead and add some yellow to that too, I guess. If I have any yellow left over there. Boy, it makes me want to go driving again. Well, I'll be driving next week. Robin is going to New Jersey, Robin and her mom. And I'll be driving them to the airport. And it is a nighttime drive. So I won't see any mountains. But I'll be driving. Driving in my car. This is the back of the car, so I don't gotta do too much there. I just want a couple of dark clouds like it's possibly gonna storm. Alright, let that dry and we'll come back to it. Alright, now we gotta add some little bit of detail to that car. The car's gotta have a little windshield. There's a little windshield there. A bit of a grill. Let's get some of that yellow. Get some of the yellow off of my gouache sheet here. I think that's more of the shade I want. I just want it there. into this. Yellow. See if I can get that yellow better. Very tiny yellow. See if I can. I think we can make the road a little bit darker too. Make everything a little darker. Yeah, it's like the road needs to be darker. Everything needs to be darker. Just need to be very, very stark here. Keep a little bit of area for the top of the railing. Very dark. Very dark. That up there, didn't want to do that. A little bit of a mistake right there. Well, even the cars outside are adding sound effects to the painting here, to the video of the painting. Yeah, it's still dark out there. Oh no, it's not. The sun is up. It feels like it's still dark. Oh, I keep putting paint on that spot. I don't want to put paint on that spot. I gotta lift it. I get a clean brush. Lift that paint off of there. I can make a little hint of yellow too, that would be nice. There's a lot of black, a lot of dark on this picture. Wow. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I thought about doing this one. It just seems like there's a lot of places here where a little bit of light would be coming through. You know, and some of this highway would be lit also from the reflection. So it's obviously a wet highway, right? You know, I don't think they'd be reflecting that far down. I'm gonna cover some of this. I think I exaggerated how far they would be. Yeah, I think that's more realistic. Yeah, that looks more realistic, I think. I think what I have to do, I need to get some fresh white and some fresh yellow Just use it straight out of the tube, so that's what I'm doing. Getting it out of the tube. Let's see, this one's called Yellow Medium. It's gouache. So I'm using that on the, hopefully we can accomplish this. I think I probably have to wait for it to dry. Alright, let's see. Let's start with the yellow. Is it not too soon? I hope it's not too soon. So this is going to be the dotted line. This is the dotted line that he's driving on the other side of. I hope he's on the other side of that line. See, gouache works in a wonderful opaque way. It's very much like acrylic when you use it. Right now I'm going to use the white, kind of make the line on this side of the road. It's amazing how we depend on that line too, especially in the dark, especially in the mountains. See if I can add a little bit of white here. And then over here too, there would be a little bit of a, not much of a shoulder. I didn't give it much of a shoulder. I'm sure the road had more in the real world. Just disappears into nowhere. A couple of vertical lines. Maybe they're mile markers or something. I think vertical lines are kind of a secret tool for artists. What do you think? The only thing I'm not sure of is the sky. Is the sky okay? Maybe I can just move around some of those watermarks. I know what you're saying. If I had higher grade paint, it wouldn't do that. Well, I'll find out one day when I get that higher grade paint you keep telling me about. Right now, this is what I got. So, just want to make that sky a little bit more intensely red, especially right there. Have you ever driven through the night? I'm sure you have. And you can see the first sign of daylight. It's like you're so glad the sun is finally coming up. The night seems so long when you're driving at night. I'm going to add a little bit of this orange down here in the hills. Some of it is reflecting off the land, I'm sure. I'm sure it's reflecting off of everything. I remember the first time I woke up in a place I was unfamiliar with, and the sun was rising as I was sitting at the campsite. And I saw a plateau that I didn't know was there because when I arrived, it was so dark you couldn't see anything. So I just want to give the effect that there is some visible landscaping here. Even if it's hardly visible, there is something happening here. It's not all one coat of paint. All right, there's our lonely night drive. I guess that's arc. I guess that's it. Tracy Chapman says, "You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way." Wow. All right. Well, let me let it dry. And let me clean my brushes. And then the card is done. I always ask myself, do I like this one? I don't know. I promised myself when I started doing this channel that I would not only show you the cards I liked. I would show you the cards I don't like also. And guess what? I did it on the wrong side. I painted on the wrong side. Oh well. I'll have to fold it backwards, I guess. So it's an inside out card. Maybe I can make this the inside of the card. That would be fun. And paint the other side to be the front. Then when you open it up, nah, I won't do that. I won't do that. Well, that's what I got done today. A fast car driving at night. Are we in that car? Or are we in the car going that way? All right. Hey, thanks for watching, subscribing, and all that. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.